Hello friends! Most people adore cute puppies and kittens, but as they say, love is blind, and people have fallen in love with some frightening creatures. Some people have tender feelings towards snakes, crocodiles, and even the most dangerous predators. You're about to see the scariest pets in the world. Let's go! When there's a baby in the house, people tend to approach choosing a pet in a responsible manner. Most parents wouldn't adopt a dangerous dog knowing it might harm their baby. But a father of 3-year-old Maharati from Indonesia decided that a crocodile would make a great first pet for his daughter. It may sound strange, but he wasn't wrong. Maharati and her pet are inseparable. She actively involves him in her games, and he regularly participates in tea parties with her dolls. At the same time, Maharati understands that he's not a toy. She cares for, feeds, and even bathes the crocodile. But how did her dad even come up with the idea to even get a crocodile? It happened by accident. He worked at a pet store and, one day, an injured baby crocodile was brought to him. He brought him home to recover, but his daughter got so attached to the crocodile that he became a real member of the family. Eric LeBlanc is another lover of reptiles. There are hundreds of them in his house. Some children grow up surrounded by chickens, cows, or goats, while others play with dogs, but the situation is completely different in Eric's family. Instead of petting fluffy kittens, Eric's daughters cuddle with pythons. Some of the snakes living in their house are more than 5 meters long. Among the family's pets is a Komodo dragon who, according to Eric, is like a dog. Many people judge the man who filled his house with reptiles, but his daughters are not among them. The girls say that they feel like princesses surrounded by magical dragons. Like many people, Ari Borges from Brazil loves cats, but he prefers the really big and dangerous variety. At the moment, 7 grown tigers live in his home. They eat meat out of his hand, swim in his pool, and even nap on his bed. It all started when Ari and his wife rescued a few tigers from the circus where they were seriously abused. At first, the couple thought that the tigers would live in the yard, but later decided to let them enter the house. Since then, the couple took in another 5 tigers. Ari has 3 daughters, but he claims to have never feared for their safety of the girls who grew up in the company of the predators. He is convinced that if you treat animals with love and respect, they will respond in kind and will never harm you. In my opinion, 7 tigers in a house with children is very risky. What do you think? Jackson O'Doherty from Australia has a little kangaroo named Damien for a pet. People were extremely touched by a video of Jackson's tiny friend when he uploaded it on social media. Jackson and Damien are true friends. They go on morning runs together, go on swings, and even build sandcastles. Jackson works at a construction site and the little kangaroo accompanies him there as well. After work, they go grocery shopping together. Of course, right now the kangaroo does not seem dangerous at all, but what will happen in the future? Mature kangaroos are 1.5 meters in height. They can jump as high as 3 meters and as long as 9 meters. The animal won't really have room to move around in Jackson's apartment. If there's enough will, you can create suitable conditions not only for a kangaroo, but also for a 700-kilogram bear. Meet Jim and his friend Grizzly Jimbo. The man raised the bear since he was a cub. In 2015, Jim and his wife opened a shelter where 11 bears currently live. Bears are brought to Jim's shelter for rehabilitation if they are born sick or become injured, as a result of which they can no longer live in the wild. Unfortunately, if an animal becomes too close to people, he or she can no longer survive independently in the wild. That's exactly what happened to Jimbo. He will stay at the shelter for the rest of his life, but it looks like he's enjoying himself. In the United Arab Emirates, it is not unusual to meet a person walking a big cat on a leash. Usually, they are cheetahs, leopards, and lions. Humaid is one of the most famous lovers of these predators. He has a whole zoo in his backyard and posts daily selfies with the wildcats on his Instagram. His favorite pet is a lion, and as you can see, the feelings are mutual. Humaid puts his arm inside the animal's mouth without a hint of fear, and the animal does not even think about harming his owner. Jessica Coker likes her pet so much that she even wrote a book about her. It's called Juniper, the Happiest Fox. The book is about the real life of her pet fox and her friendship with a dog named Moose. It describes many fun stories that happen to them almost every day. The readers simply fell in love with the beautiful Juniper, who, by the way, is a talented artist who can paint with her paws. Today, Jessica rescues wild animals and several foxes live in her house. She regularly posts pictures of them on Instagram. Lots of people are afraid of snakes. Now imagine that a two-headed snake got into your house. How would you react? Lots of snakes inhabit Louisiana, so people are not surprised to find one in their backyard. But Tanny Janusz found a two-headed snake in the grass. Surprisingly, her find didn't scare her. On the contrary, she thought it was cute. Tanny took the unusual snake home and named each of the heads. They are now called File and Gumbo. 1 in 100,000 snakes is born with such a mutation, so Tanny truly does have a unique pet. You must always remember that you become responsible forever for what you have tamed. When you decide to bring home a pet, you must think hard about whether you are able to provide the animal with good living conditions. Brian Hahn decided to bring a baby hyena named Jake into his Florida apartment. At first, everything went well. Brian and Jake became good friends quickly, but it soon became obvious that life in an apartment is not at all suitable for a hyena. Brian was forced to give away his pet to a shelter. He makes an effort to visit as often as possible, but each time it is hard for them to say goodbye to each other. In a refugee camp in the south of the Gaza Strip lives a family that has 2 beautiful lion cubs instead of house cats. The head of the family, Sadi Jamel, bought them from a local zoo, and now his children play with them as if they were regular kittens. Even at such a young age, the pair eats a kilo of meat per day. When you look at the conditions in which Sadi's family lives, it's hard to imagine how he will feed the lions once they are grown. It is not entirely clear why he bought the cats, but he already announced that he will be willing to rent out the animals to local establishments as an attraction. This family from Texas decided to have a lynx as a pet. Of course, it is not a lion, but it is still a rather dangerous animal. It turns out that there are many people in the world who think getting ordinary cats are boring. These brave souls bring lynxes into their houses and apartments and, surprisingly, get along quite well with them. It seems that some people are so fearless that if the saber-toothed tigers didn't become extinct, they would tame them and keep them as pets. If you watch the animated movie Ice Age, you know exactly what animal I'm talking about. Of course, it's a Smilodon. But how? The saber-toothed cats went extinct a long time ago. It turns out that you can meet them in Los Angeles even today. Of course, it's not a real Smilodon, but rather a life-size robotic model, but it looks very realistic. Friends, that's all for today. If you enjoyed the video, give us a like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. We'll see you next time.